Hello everyone, my name is Michael SK, and welcome back to Anonymous Code. So in the end of the last episode, we were able to rush back home, jump onto Pollon's father's computer, and connect to the satellite that he always performed maintenance on in order to try and direct all this stuff to the asteroid in order to, I guess, impale it, run stuff into it in order to destroy it, or at least a big chunk of it. No idea if that worked, but we kind of had everybody's help there. Everybody kind of came together. They also sort of had to because comms are like really sketchy right now. But I don't know if things are necessarily going to play out. I feel like it's really early to tell. I know we've got half an hour here on the countdown, but also it's only chapter 9. Sure, we're not at the end yet, where the end of the world is supposed to happen in, a week or so? But this is a world-ending tragedy waiting to happen, so it's hard to say that this is all going to work out. I feel like we're not there yet. We stood near the Sun Plaza and waited for the time to come. All around us were people who looked like they had given up on running away. They were gazing up at the sky with despair in their eyes.
大丈夫。きっと大丈夫よ。
Yeah, hopefully.
20分前にアストライア衛星はしっかりと X2038 にぶつかった。ほぼ完璧だった。
Okay, so what's next?
だからスペースガードミサイルだってきっと当たる。
They were set to reach the asteroid when it was about 30 minutes from Earth, or about 30,000 kilometers away. I didn't know if it was going to be visible to the naked eye, but even so, I gulped and looked up at the sky. Suddenly,
あれが X2038
is it now? It was just a white dot in the sky, but even from here I could tell it was no regular star. It doesn't even look that far away, but I guess when it's something that big, I mean, distance and its actual size can be a little misleading. And if it wasn't stopped, it was going to crash into the Pacific in 30 minutes. There was no way for me to redo any of this. Oh, that's right. Also in the previous episode, Asuma was quite the little bitch to us, and he decided to take away all of our abilities to save and load. All of our saves are gone. There's nothing to load back to. We were about to see if all of our efforts had paid off. Cross, Wind, Miss Lid, Mr. Samazu, Nono, even Oz, who they dragged into this mess. Graham, who had been standing outside my house. Momo, who was still injured and struggled to walk. Everyone was looking up at the sky. Yeah, whole gang is here.
大丈夫です。
She whispered like she was trying to convince herself.
ポロンさんが、皆さんがうまくやってくれたから、だから大丈夫なんです。
スペースガードミサイルと X2038 のコンタクトまであと20秒。
Oh, this is the moment of truth then.
行け。
行ってくれ。
行っちゃえ。
行け。行きやがれ。
あと5秒。4、3、
It's not gonna work out, is it?
1。
行け。貫け。
It was as if my voice had reached it. Did it do something? A bright light filled the sky of the winter morning. The people around us looked up in shock and confusion. Was that light the world ending? Or... The light subsided, and the scenery we saw, the thing we saw when we looked up... Well, there is nothing to see, so what does that mean? I couldn't help but laugh. I'd only just made it out, but I'd actually seen it. I had seen the asteroid explode and splinter into little pieces.
やったぞ。
Did it actually work out?
俺たち
I'm a little shocked.
やったんだ。
I thought there would have been like one more obstacle, such as, Asuma himself, who is flying around, somewhere right now. I mean, he did hinder our progress, but I do know that Kent is still on his ass. We had one chance, and one had been enough. Momo teared up as my eyes met hers. We looked to each other. Standing in front of everyone who had helped, I threw my fist in the air.
ハッカーは魔法使いだ。不可能を可能にするんだよ。
ポロン君
I'm still very on edge though. Like, I know everybody's celebrating, but I'm just really worried. Miss Lid and Nono both grabbed me.
うわー
No, you don't get to grab us.
すごいよ。みんなすごいよ。
Even Win joined them. He was so hyped it was impossible to tell that he had been cowering moments ago. But there's always a but. We were the only ones in high spirits. Some of the people nearby had cheered a little, but they got exhausted and fell into despair again straight away. Right. Things weren't over yet. We prevented the asteroid impact, but the Pope had declared that the world would end in a few days. Then again, that was a job for Kent, so... Oh. What's up, Juno? I suddenly noticed that Juno was here.
ジュノ、お前怪我は大丈夫なのか？
Yeah, where has she been? I don't remember what she has been up to. How long has she been here? I glanced at her injury. Oh, that's right. Yeah, she got injured. She had like an impalement. Something went straight through her. It looked like she had been treated. She must have found a hospital. Why does she look like that? Why is she not menacing and annoying as like she usually is? Her expression was blank, but then she began crying her eyes out. Oh no. What happened to Kent? Okay, we get it. What happened to him?
おい、どうしたんだ？
どうしたってお前があのクソどうでもいい小惑星にかまけてる間に
Wasting
消
time?
されたの兄さんが
Oh. I was thinking, I'm like, what could have happened to somebody that doesn't even exist? Well, he still kinda has a bit of an existence. And since Asuma has control of this world, well, he can kinda, you know, just make things disappear, such as our power.
Huh?
What did she just say?
文字通りこの世からあらゆる痕跡を消されちゃったの。
何を言って。
兄さんはもうどこにもいないのよ。
Our joy quickly turned to despair. We had lost our only hope of saving the world. Well, shit. Now what? Well, we finished chapter 9, I guess. So here's chapter 10. Yeah, we're really not done here with Asuma. He really is kind of our obstacle. But the asteroid's been dealt with, right? Like, we really don't have to, you know, worry about a big-ass rock hitting the Earth anymore, right? Under heavy fire, Asuma had flown into the sky. Floating above the Shinjuku crater, he looked down and clicked his tongue. He didn't like that Graham had shot him while he was cornering Pollon Takaoka. Graham's bullet would never have hit Asuma. It would have automatically stopped before it so much as grazed his body. Asuma was irritated purely because he had to rely on his reflexes to evade it. Asuma began to break apart at the particle level. His body, completely untouched by the overwhelming amount of drone firepower, was shining as it split apart. It looked akin to magic, but Asuma realized immediately that this too was an attack on him. This meant that there was still someone out there with the means to attack him. And Asuma quickly realized this person was the wizard-level hacker Cicada 3301, aka Kent Koreisha, causing trouble and mayhem beyond the dead, or at least trying to save the world, I suppose. Asuma halted the attack. Just before it disappeared altogether, his body, or rather his data, reconstructed automatically. All he had done was wish for it too. The light consuming him vanished, and he was in perfect health again. I'm very curious as to how Kent pulled this off. I guess if the world is digital, if you go deep enough, if you go high enough, as high as you possibly could, you start to get into Asuma level, huh? The moment Asuma growled these words, Amadeus Kent appeared before him. It was clear from Kent's expression that he hadn't intended to make such an appearance.
あと、僕の意思も尊重しろ。
Why should we?
お前がやってる
Why
こと
should we
こそ
respect
独り
anything,
よがり
you
じゃ
know?
しかも何の意味もないことだし。
I think humanity has to try, like, everybody is their own person. They should try to go for whatever they want specifically in a, you know, moral sort of way. But at the same time, so what if the majority wants the world to end? So what if the majority wants to be freed from this digital world? At the end of the day, whether it's minority or not, the sole person, the soul within the person, I guess you could say, is what will dictate what they want. Does that make any sense?
自分
I'm
が
trying to
正
sound
しい
cool
って
here.
態度。じゃあ僕も救えよ。なんで僕だけ殺そうとしてるんだよ。
I mean, we're trying to save everybody. Like, I'm totally aware. I think everybody here should be totally aware that Asuma is hurting right now. He has so much conflicting within because of everything that's kind of gone down in this past day. But come on, at least work with us a little bit here.
だからこのシミュレーションはクソなんだよ。もう消えろよお前。
The white noise of static interference suddenly began crawling over Ken's body. In a moment, he was the one consumed by light. And in another moment, he disassembled entirely. Fragments of light floated around for a few seconds, but soon those too vanished, as if they had never been. I'm sure that he exists somewhere. I mean, he was already pulling off some crazy shit, like trying to erase Asuma in the same way that Asuma erased Ken. So I'm sure that he's got some fragments of himself somewhere, right? Right? Asuma had completely deleted Kent Korihisha. And it wasn't just this body that he had deleted. He had deleted Amadeus Kent Korihisha's data in its entirety. Well, never fucking mind, I guess. Data that once spread all over the world was now gone without a trace. He hadn't neglected to delete the original Kent's data either, nor the Amadeus system offshoot that Kent had built. Kent was gone, and he could never come back. Normally, it was impossible to delete data without leaving a single byte of information behind. But as he was now, Asuma could accomplish that feat without any trouble. If he wanted to, he could delete the very memories of Kent Korihisha and Cicada 3301 from the minds of everyone who knew of them.
言ったじゃん。この世界じゃ僕は何だってできるって。
This is some real Kingdom
感
Hearts
謝し
shit
て
all
ほ
of a
しいぐ
sudden.
らいだよ。お前は25年の呪縛から解放してやったんだから。
Now Asuma could finally end the world. The asteroid that he had created would collide with Earth in half an hour. It would instantly kill hundreds of millions, or will it? He looked up at the sky and was left speechless. Nothing there, huh? The asteroid was hurtling closer, but as it did, it was pierced by a few small lights. Now nothing there. And the sky was drowned in light. Asuma knew instinctively that the asteroid had been destroyed. The world would not end at his hands. The future had been changed.
誰だよ。誰だよ、誰だよ、誰だよ
Oh, come on. There's only one guy who could. He yelled in outrage, but he already had an inkling as to who was responsible.
どうせお前らなんだろ。ルシアそれに、高岡ポロ
The dynamic duo at it again. As I've been saying this entire Let's Play. Which is awesome because they really do work well together. They've accomplished a whole bunch of shit together. The CCO office, which was usually at least somewhat lively, was totally silent today. Being alone at this empty office made me feel a bit uncomfortable. The door swung suddenly open, and Chief Samizu walked in.
室長
I was wondering what the idol cops have been up to. I mean, ever since this whole, mission here to prevent the calamity with Asuma, we have not seen a single trace of these girls. His eyes widened in surprise when he saw me.
もう来たんですか。
あ、はい意外とスイスイ来られちゃいました都内の道朝までの混乱が嘘みたいに空いてます
ええ、自分も見てきました。
The explosions in Umanomori and Odaiba, the drones that ran amok, and the asteroid that almost hit the planet. So many things had happened in such a short time, but as CCO officers, we were completely powerless to stop any of them. The chief had been suspended after the pool hack, and it was hard to tell who was in charge of who anymore. Okay, I guess that's probably a little surprising as to, why he's here. Why anybody's here is actually probably a big surprise with everything going down, but the situation had blown into such a large-scale crisis that we couldn't have done anything about it, even if we had wanted to. If the asteroid had fallen, Tokyo would have been destroyed. That was why until now I had been at home with Riko and Iroha. We had been sitting together, shaking as we waited for the asteroid to arrive. But the asteroid had suddenly exploded before impact, and I was still alive somehow. That was when the chief called us. He told anyone who could work today to come into the office. I hadn't been informed about his suspension being lifted, so I assumed that he was planning something himself. When I saw the message, though, I couldn't ignore it. I rushed to the office right away. Riko and Iroha said that they'd catch up with me after they changed into their uniforms.
君は実家に帰らなくてもいいんですか?
この状況じゃ無理ですよ。
Why?
高速道路は大渋滞
Oh,
だし、
okay.
リニアも新幹線も動いてないし。
Yeah, imagine big ass asteroid on its way to kill everybody, but you can't even go to your family. Even so, this asteroid was destroyed and the Earth was saved for the moment. I mean, damn, that does suck. When X-2038 was on a collision course with Earth, countless people had tried to evacuate, even while knowing there was no way out. I mean, I think that's a natural instinct, is that you will always want to try and run as much as you can, no matter what. The roads had ended up in an absolute mess, with almost everybody in a desperate rush to evacuate. Evacuating was the right decision, though, in a way. Experts predicted that the asteroid would cause a tsunami over 100 meters tall, but it had broken apart and its fragments were expected to cause much less damage. The news said that there would be far fewer casualties now.
室長。例の小惑星が爆発した件って、ポロン君が関わってたりしますか?
Oh, but of course, it wouldn't be, an earth-saving moment if it wasn't for Poland. But I was also, what was I going to mention? All of these issues that have popped up, I mean, they're very, I don't want to say in season, but they fit right in with the story, really all of the science adventure series when you think about it. And they're almost being a world-ending asteroid really fits in with everything. And that we've seen some world-ending shit before.
Eh.
If everything in the science adventure series absolutely happened the way we saw it here on this world layer. I couldn't put my finger on why, but I had a feeling that he had done something.
すごいな、彼。
Oh yeah.
で、室長も関わってます?
He actually was.
自分は部外者ですよ。
Oh no. You were a part of you were a part of it. Come on.
でも何か知ってる。ですよね。小惑星の件が終わっても、まだ問題は残ってます。週末がどうとかって話は、本当なんですか?
どうやら。
やっぱり、今、世界で何が起きてるんですか?
I had seen the Pope's speech. Honestly, I didn't know what that was about, but it made me feel massively anxious.
誰もがこの世界は終わりが近づいていると。
I mean, if you have like a very significant figure in, religion or politics or whatever, come out and say like, yeah, this crazy ass event that's going to kill a whole bunch of people is just the first of the world ending. The rest of the world will meet its end here shortly. It's like, yeah, that does not bode well, and that's going to create some problems among, everybody.
それどころか、この世界そのものが。
And you know that everybody's going to believe it because there's already a pretty world-ending situation that has popped up.
一方で唯一、アメリカ大統領は教皇の発言を認めています。
Really? Huh, okay.
総理大臣って見つかったんですか?
いいえ。
Yeah, the prime minister is still like totally gone. We've seen so many little like news pop-ups about that. Now the US president in his little speech there, Barack Obama himself did say at the end of it, like God help us all or whatever. So I do know that we all know, right? Religion kind of plays a part with, the United States and whatever, even so it's, freedom of religion or whatever. But they do tend to say, Christian related things. So you can say that there's a little bit of maybe a connection here. So I don't know. I'm trying to tie a potential piece together here as to why the US president would, be totally on board with whatever the fuck the Pope is saying.
海外の SNS での書き込みなどを見ると、少なくない人が終末を事実として受け入れ始めていますね。神を信じていた敬虔な人ほど絶望の色は濃いようです。
Well, yeah.
ただの平凡な人間、あるいは AI だったわけです。
Or, don't believe that the world is a simulation or whatever. Continue to believe that there is a God in everything and that God is just, planning on crushing the earth here in a few days. Maybe? I don't know. But I can understand why a lot of people would just be completely distraught by finding out that, growing up believing in, a higher plane of some sort, a deity, if you will, and then all of a sudden, no, it's really not like that. You have been lied to. Everything that you believe in there is completely wrong, which you can also equate to why Asuma feels the way that he does, along with a lot of other people such as Oz. Everything that they have believed, the life that they've lived, has been very much shadowed in lies. Yeah, I'd probably be the latter.
略奪や殺人、強姦などの犯罪も相次ぐはず。しかし警察も機能しなくなるので、今後それらの犯罪は野放しです。
When the world is coming to an end, yeah, you're going to have everybody kind of just throw everything away. Morals, ethics, laws, structure of civilization is completely gone.
警察だけでなく、軍もさじ。
It doesn't matter anymore, right? World's going to end anyways.
警察官も軍人も人ですから。みんなこの状況で誰かのために行動したりしないでしょう。
So things were just going to spiral further out of control over the next 10 days until the world ended. But after hearing about what Pollon did,
こういう時こそ私たちがみんなのために動かなきゃ。どっかのハッカー少年なんかに負けてられません。室長、私なんなら1週間ぶっ続けで歌ってもいいです。
I really don't understand her enthusiasm, but I'm with it. I think we need it.
室長がいつも言ってたことじゃないですか。
そうでしたね。アイドル is smile.
Right.
スマイル is アイドル。
この状況でもやってるんだ、それ。
Yeah, I mean, out of everything that we could be talking about, the seriousness has kind of dropped off all of a sudden. World line collapse? I didn't really understand what the chief was talking about. Yeah, that one... I don't remember that, actually. What the fuck? Did he actually bring that up? I mean, it sounds like some shit that he would spew, but... Okay, interesting. Still...
これがサイバー対策室の最後になるかもしれない仕事です。君たちの奮闘に期待します。それと
He glanced at me.
いかなる時もキュートな笑顔を忘れないよう。
Well, I'm glad that he can, I guess, stay perfectly in character along with everybody else here in these dire moments. If this was going to make the world a better place or help even a single person, I was ready to go above and beyond. All right. I really do wonder, though, is it all gonna work?
いらっしゃい。おう。
おっちゃん、いられば。
Oh, okay, I remember this place all of a sudden.
だよ。
The world was about to end, so hardly any businesses were open, but this place is apparently. I was pretty shocked when I saw this place was carrying on like normal. Still, it was lunchtime, but Oz and I were the only customers here.
この年で若いやつに説教されちまった
The
りも
number of
したし
idiots
な。
worshipping Asuma Soga as God is increasing rapidly. What the fuck? Really? I guess if somebody comes in with, like, godlike powers and the ability to do whatever the fuck they want, I guess you're gonna have followers?
まあ、俺の話はどうでもいいんだよ。
Yeah, I wasn't here to thank him.
ジュノから話が聞けたのか？
ああ、一応な。落ち着かせるのは大変だったぜ。俺も何度か殺されかけた。
You know, as per usual. After losing Kent, Juno was in such a bad way that it had taken all of us to pacify her.
結局、コリヒサケントを復元するのは無理だった。
Miss Lid had contacted Kirisu Makise. That is so weird to say her name like that. Makise Kirisu about looking into Amadeus Ken.
奴に関するありとあらゆるデータもシステムもこの世から一切の痕跡を残さず消されてたらしい。ある意味徹底してたそうだ。
It was nearly impossible to delete every trace of something from the internet, but Asuma had done it, and he had done it in an instant.
誰も気づいてないローカルデータがもしかしたらどっかに残ってるかもしれんが、それをすぐに見つけるのは困難だ。
アスマがやったんだ。残ってるわけないさ。これまでずっとケントが何とかしてくれるって思ってた。だからこそ俺もモモもあいつを探し続けてたわけで、よりによってこんなことになるなんてな。
Yeah, that really was a bit of a shock just to know that he had been disappeared, or I guess thrown, or I don't know, made to vanish. Every bit of him is gone, and I don't think, there being a local trace of him is going to matter. Apparently, any bite that existed of him is totally gone, whether it's on the internet or local. This isn't necessarily a network thing, I don't think. But yeah, that is a little surprising, and I can see why there's a little bit of depression going around here, because he was supposed to be the savior, and he seemed very capable, 100%. We saw him do some crazy shit in the last episode, and we've always seen him do some crazy, world-threatening shit in the first place. He's, played with people's lives quite a bit, as we've also seen. So, yeah, he was definitely capable, but it seems like Asuma still came out on top. It really does, beg the question, could we have done more? And since I couldn't load either, I couldn't even go back to that moment and try again. Yeah, we can't even try. Actually, are all of our saves still gone, like 100%? I don't think going to the load screen will show them, even if there were any, but no, it even continues to say no data. But I do want to cheat a little. It doesn't look like there's any... No, that's us. Okay, yeah, there's no little icons here that even give off the idea that that slot is going to be used at some point. Nothing nowhere. God damn it. That does suck. Wait a minute. I'm a fucking liar. There are some slots here. They were used, though. Does that mean that they're still, like, preserved? I wonder. I guess we'll just keep grinding it out and see if eventually maybe we can get our loads back. The guy put the dish in front of me. None of the local supermarkets, convenience stores, or internet delivery services were working properly. Just getting food was a mission in itself right now. I think it's in and of itself. Sometimes I said in... Oh, I miss a word sometimes. In of itself sometimes is what I say. But yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a little bit more to that phrase. Hot meals like this were something to savor. But I wasn't actually that hungry. I'd kind of ordered it out of habit. Still, I wasn't going to waste it. I scooped up some white rice with the liver.
で、ジュノから聞き出せた話の内容は、ケントが何をしようとしてたのかは分かったのか？
いや、あいつはケントからろくに知らされてなかった。
兄弟なのにか？
だからあんな歪んじゃってるんだろ。
Yeah, I mean, she's probably felt very much abandoned. And also, she's a little bit on the jealous side. I don't know if you guys noticed that. Maybe it's just me.
ケントのことを書いた紙のメモが見つかってさ。
Rosario hadn't fully recovered yet. Yeah, I'm kind of curious as to how she's doing. But she still flew to Spain to find it.
そこに世界を救う術についてのヒントがあったんだ。
Oh yeah, look at the date. Yeah, we're 2 days into the future all of a sudden. Cool. I keep forgetting to look down there.
で、そりゃ他の誰かでも再現できるもんなのかよ。
無理だろうな。
The entire mass media ditched their work and ran off. Can't get any info.
ケントがやろうとしてたのは地球シミュレータのハッキングだ。
ガイアか。それにどんな意味が？
Well, that has a connection with Asuma, right? Or is Asuma the only one that can sort of do this weird-ass reflecting shit? But that's more so with the upper layer, right?
俺たちの世界層にあるガイアじゃない。上のガイアだ。
Ah.
ほう。 そりゃつまり
この世界そのもののハッキングをやろうとしてたんだよ。世界線大変動。それがケントがあらゆる世界層を救う術だった。
World line collapse.
超ウィザード級と言ってもいいコリヒサケントだからかろうじてできるかもしれないって話さ。
That's interesting. To force a world line change across every single fucking layer.
普通のハッカーじゃ
We're talking 3D all of a sudden, or 4D. Well, at least it was clear that we had never get this done before the end of the world. We had shared it on 4chan's hack board, obviously, and people were talking it over, but still.
状況は厳しいな。
The fried garlic chives and liver were bland. It wasn't like the chef had forgotten how to cook. I just wasn't in any state to enjoy food. And I knew why. We probably didn't have the means to pull off what Kent had planned. And finding another way to save the world seemed unlikely, but more importantly...
なあ、オズのおっさん。
ん？
俺さ。
Go on.
なんだよ。
俺は。
I couldn't save or load anymore. The thought had made me so anxious I couldn't sleep, and I'd been vomiting up pretty much everything I ate too. Honestly though, I'd been relying on it too much. Well, yeah. I mean, imagine Okabe lost his abilities to... or lost the ability to tell whenever that we're jumping world lines or to time leap backwards a little bit. Like, it's pretty significant that the thing that you've relied on and continue to rely on is all of a sudden snatched away from you. And I think that's actually happened to Okabe, where in some of the endings, he's popped up in a world line that is just so drastically different. There is no, fancy-ass microwave that lets you do all this cool-ass shit. You are all of a sudden in a world line where you will live out the rest of your days. And I'm sure that's kind of, had a little bit of an effect on him. So it's kind of similar here, except we're fucked anyways. After learning more about what Dad did, my emotions were in a better place, and I felt kind of proud to be a hacker now. But the end was approaching fast, and I didn't feel like I could help Momo without my abilities. The anxiety was crushing me. But despite all that, I didn't even have the courage to try loading the saved data you made, Anon. I mean, I'd like to. I'd like to pull this shit up and do it.
いや、なんでもない。
I'm going to keep that line in mind just in case. Here in this shop, I feel like that might have been a hint to load. I just couldn't find the words. I feel like eventually we will load that data, whether it's something that I got to choose to do or the game will do it for us, but there's something to do with that fucking save. I was heading home. Maybe, just maybe, it could have been a hint from the very beginning with Kent. Maybe. There wasn't a single person at Nakano Station. Everyone had vanished from the city. The fragments of X-2038 had caused a tsunami in the Pacific, but it was so small that there were almost no casualties. So that wasn't the reason the city was so deserted. Right now, people were either locking themselves up at home and waiting for the end, or gathering in groups to seek comfort from others. Things were about the same all over the world. 2 days ago, this place was full of people running about or watching the asteroid coming down, but now there were no such people here. Public transportation was non-operational, and the roads were almost devoid of cars. I couldn't even see any self-driving buses. Some businesses had brought their shutters down, while others had kept theirs up and been looted. Yet this stinky-ass little restaurant here is still good to go. Cool. Some had even been abandoned by employees and left with empty shelves. Some still had AR characters out front, though, cheerfully inviting more customers inside. There was nobody at Symphony tonight. None of us had gotten enough sleep over the past few days, so I told everyone to get some rest. Momo had volunteered to look after Juno. It seemed like she had something to discuss with her, though. I had told her to take a break, though. What was this supposed to be? The economy had frozen and society was at a standstill as people held their breaths. The world was dying a slow death already. At least that's how the silence made me feel. I really do hope that we do get our ability to load again, and we can kind of just fix all of this, because this really is depressing. Sure, it's bringing us as members of the same, vendetta here together, to save the world and to do great things, but also a lot of people are really hurting. A week flew by. We are so fucking close to the end of the world all of a sudden. The deadline was getting dangerously close. We had 3 days left before the end of the world, and no idea how to prevent it. A wasted week didn't do my anxiety any favors, given the circumstances. There were even fewer people out in the city than before. Infrastructure had collapsed, and people who hadn't prepped couldn't even get any food. All they could do was starve as the end approached. The snow that had fallen this morning made the city feel even more silent. That was when Momo called me out of the blue. She had spent the past week hanging out with Juno. I assumed that she wanted to learn whatever else that she could about Kent from her. It felt like it had been a while since I'd heard from her. She said that she wanted to meet up and talk, and suggested going to the park where we had first seen each other. Some good old memories to be had here, I think. I was already here, but I couldn't see her anywhere. I parked myself on a bench when...
ポロンさん、お待たせしました。
No worries.
はい、これどうぞ。
Momo joined me. She ran up and handed me something. I took it without thinking and then realized it was some warm milk tea.
私のおごりです。
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good for a snowy day.
おう、
Anything warm.
ありがとう。
I don't like warm things, though, guys. I gotta be honest with you. I just can't do anything warm. Warm drinks, that is. I can do warm food, but I just can't do a warm drink. Is that weird? I'm sorry if that's weird. I was surprised that she managed to find something like this. Maybe she was a little late because she had been searching. The world's economy had practically shut down. Pretty much every vending machine had been emptied already. The milk tea was so warm that I...
ポロンさん、どうかしたんですか?
A lot of things are wrong. Come on now.
いや、
My anxiety must have shown on my face. This sudden kindness almost broke me. I felt like I was about to cry. No, not just any kindness. It was Momo's kindness. Maybe that's why. Is it true that Asuma is responsible for the end too?
俺、
I don't know about that, actually.
モモの役に立てないかも。
I mean, it was, according to the Vatican, to the office, that in order for the, fate line to be realigned, for the end to actually happen, this calamity needed to be caused. Otherwise, there probably would not have been an end. But, yeah, I don't know. Maybe he is somehow related. Sitting on the bench, I looked away from her.
俺はセーブ&ロードの便利さに頼り切ってたんだ。だからあれがなくなった今、どう動いたらいいのかわからなくて。ハッカーとしてはまだまだ三流だし。なんか情けないよな。
I wouldn't say he is. Not at all. I mean, Pollon has done so much. We can all agree. He has done so much to save so many lives. I think him relying on saving and loading isn't necessarily a bad thing because he used it for the greater good. At that moment, I felt something warm press against my back. Oh shit.
それでも、
That's cute.
それでも、ポロンさんの言葉が私に何度も勇気をくれたのは事実ですから。
Yeah, that is also true. Momo has definitely grown as a person. The character development seems to be a little, rushed here and there, and she's definitely kind of just jumped back into being helpful a lot of times. But nevertheless, yeah, she's much more dependable, actually, now. When back then, not at all.
中野シンフォニーズの一員として役に立ててるっていうことですから。
I think she is. I think she's great. I mean, I keep on spouting this dynamic duo shit over and over again, but yeah, she's been helpful, 100%. Without her, we would not have accomplished a whole lot of stuff here in this story.
その残された最後のチャンスを逃したくないんです。
What is it?
この世界を。ポロンさんや大切な人たちがいるこの世界を。私はどうしても失いたくなくて、そのために 私にできることがやっと見つかった気がするんです。
Oh no, it's gonna be sacrificial. This sounds bad. This sounds like she's gonna die. Which sucks is because she seems to be fully accepting of how the world is, how it's not necessarily real, how she isn't necessarily real, more so than others, and yet she feels at home. You know, she appreciates this world. She appreciates the people that she's with.
ポロンさん、私についてきてくれますか？
でも俺は
I'd be useless to her now.
私がお願いしているのはセーブとロードができる人じゃなくて
She needs
ポロンさ
Pollon.
んです。
Yeah, that's so fucking cute.
あなたと一緒なら
These two are so awesome.
私は
Through her warmth against my back, I felt her trembling. Well, yeah, it's snowing. And it wasn't because of the... Well, yeah, I'm fucking around, guys. Don't worry. And it wasn't because of the cold, I could tell. I didn't know what she was planning. But I still had to decide whether or not I should encourage her. Even if I was useless, even if I went out this way, this was about whether I could keep my promise to her. Whether I was prepared to die for that promise. It must have taken a lot for Momo to ask this of me. She was asking me to die for her, for the world itself. Well, my answer to that was obvious.
俺は変わらずモモを助ける。
Hell yeah. We'd probably have to face Asuma, and when we did, I would be powerless. I would lose the fight in a second. I probably wouldn't be able to protect Momo either. Fear and anxiety welled up in my heart. But still...
モモのことを最後の最後まで助けてやる。
That's awesome. That is
それ
so
が俺
great.
と中野シンフォニーズの心情だ。
I was trying to look cool, show that I had courage, and tell the truth all at once, and it didn't matter that I couldn't prove I meant every word. And Momo's response?
ありがとうございます。あなたのその言葉を聞けてよかった。私頑張りますね。もう何もできないだけで終わりたくないから。
Oh, you've had useless moments, but again, very helpful, truly. Momo told me what she had in mind, and it was way heavier and more shocking than I could have ever expected. And getting me to go along with it before she told me what she was planning. Momo, that wasn't too kind. It's sacrificial. This shit just became so fucking sacrificial, didn't it? What does she have in mind? Night fell, and Momo presented her idea to everyone.
週末から世界を救う方法について私から提案があります。
All right. Let's hear it. She opened with those words. Juno was among the people that she had called.
週末を回避するには世界線大変動が必要です。
Yeah, seems so.
では、それを意図的に引き起こすにはどうすればいいのか。
Very much so.
この世界はデジタル。ガイアのシミュレーション。残念ながら、それは間違いないみたいです。
Okay, so if all world lines or all world layers are set at this point, at least, from this world going downward or upward, I don't know. I'm getting myself already confused. Either way, if all are set basically to have this 2038 issue here, thanks to good old Unix, then, yeah, we need to... This is a definite divergence point, 100%. If we were able to change something here, that would change something everywhere else. But would that change be solving the issue or jumping world lines everywhere? That's what I wonder.
ケントさんはその事実を逆手に取ろうとしたんでしょう。
I almost tugged this shit on a fucking cable underneath my computer or underneath my desk. I have no idea what I just tugged on, but I gotta be careful.
この世界のシステム的な弱点
I'm
を
really
つ
bad
け
at
さえ
cable
すれば
management, by the way, guys. Sorry.
私たちの側から世界をコント
You
ロ
would
ール
hate
で
to
き
see
る
my
のでは
setup.
ないかって。それがケントさんの出した結論でした。
Okay.
そもそも2038年問題は決して解決困難な問題じゃありません。
Right. I mean, that's why Kent basically had some ideas planned out and was just looking for some help to make sure that everything would, go smoothly. It seemed like there was a solution We just had to get to this point. We're now at this point, we don't have Ken.
にもかかわらず起きてしまう可能性が高いのはなぜか。世界層は無限に存在しますが、それらがあるのは突き詰めれば一つの、つまり最上位の階級 CDC の中なんです。世界層のどれか一つでも不具合を起こせば、最上位の階級 CDC に影響してしまうことになります。
Okay, now I'm following. I just have no I have really got to fucking focus.
無限に
This
続く
is
世
some
界層のほ
crazy
とんど
serious
は
shit.
そのたった一つのミスが他の全世界層に影響を及ぼしてしまうんです。
Yeah, everyone going down especially.
ならば最上位の世界層では2038年問題は解決済みだと考えられます。
Yeah, we want that fucking patch.
世界線大変動を起こして全ての世界層をリセットし、最上位の世界層と同一の状態にします。
And would that also include all events? Like, obviously, this one's a little bit of an exception to sorts, but that could probably bring about everything kind of, well, obviously syncing together, but we wouldn't have to worry about what world layer we're on for a little bit until things start to, you know, change, and there being a possibility of manipulation from those from a higher layer messing with those of lower layers, which we have seen in this one. According to Bertone's memos, or Bertones, however you really want to pronounce that, I don't fucking know, Kent assumed that synchronizing with the top would actually turn back time a little. Earth simulators simulated the future after all, and considering we were in one of those simulated futures, from our perspective, the topmost layer was actually in the past.
すべての世界層のシンクロ率 100%。それは2038年問題が解決済みの状態へと同期されることを意味します。
And after that happened, each world would progress into their own futures again, and the sync rate with the topmost world layer would gradually drop. The 100% sync rate only needed to last a single moment. A moment would be enough to reset every layer once, and that was what we needed. No, I'm actually following. This makes some interesting sense. Definitely. Everything's not going to stay consistent going forward. Remember, simulators are simulators. Nothing is ever going to be perfect. But if you can resync everything to where everything is exactly as it is in the topmost world layer, then in that moment where everything is close enough to 100% so everything doesn't fucking fall apart, then going forward, they can start to go into their simulated, you know, different ways or whatever, and different things will happen in, I guess, different points in time that make it their own unique, I guess simulations / world layers. I don't fucking know. Am I on the right track here? I want to say I'm doing pretty good here.
今こういう状況になってるわけだから。
はい。何も起きなかったそうです。
So that even wasn't enough. We have to go a whole lot further.
そこでケントさんが出した結論が、神として世界をハッキングするのではなく、神の世界をハッキングすること。
Aha, yeah. So instead of going further down, we need to go up, up, up.
確かにコリヒサケントはそう言ってたわね。どういう意味？
Yeah, that all of a sudden, you know, interesting phrase or I guess part of the title here with Anonymous Code just got a little crazy, a little serious, didn't it? Hack into God. That's where we're headed. We're going up.
下の世界層じゃなくて上の世界層に対して干渉しなくちゃいけないのね。
The thing is that I feel like we already have somewhat of an in. And you know what? I'm going to show it to you guys. Come on, let's get up there. Come on. This might be our in. This has to be, right? I feel like from the very beginning, we had some sort of port in with those above us. We had we basically had a port of communication for all this loading and saving with Anon, right? Us making the decisions. Us when we started the game, you know? So I feel like we already have our passage. Just, how we're gonna use it.
神をハッキングせよってわけか。
それですら 100% うまくいく保証はありませんが。
No, but it's the best shot we got, isn't it?
そもそもリセットすることが前提の話になってるが、 そうすることで俺たちの記憶は失われるっていうことになるんだろ。
Oh, 100%. It's as if we're jumping world lines. It wasn't just us. The memories of everyone in the world would be overwritten by the memories of their topmost world layer selves.
それじゃあ必死に救う意味がないんじゃないか。
Well, we want to be able to live, right? Like, we'll be able to live a better life. I'm basically going to get what I asked for. Everybody won't have to suffer here. Things should theoretically be fixed.
私たちはオリジナルとはすでに別の生命だって考えるなら、世界層が閉じられた場合、無限の数の命が虐殺されるってことになるわ。それをコリッサ・ケントは救いたかったんじゃないかしら。
Yeah, also, it's going to fix this problem where everybody knows that the world is digital. For a little bit, at least.
理屈じゃねえのさ。自分が単なるデータだって受け入れるか、それに抗って意地でも自分は人間だと信じるか。コリヒサ・ケントは後者を選んだ。意地の問題だ。
なるほど。その考え方は納得しやすいです。
Naturally, we would resist too. We weren't data, we were alive.
で、ジョーちゃん。具体的にどうすりゃ世界線大変動を起こせるか。算段はついてんのか。
はい。
Momo nodded confidently. Okay, we get to hear Momo's big plan here on how to do all this,
ケント
right?
さんは世界そのものをハッキングするという手段で世界線大変動を引き起こそうとしていました。でもそれは超ウィザード級ハッカーである彼だからこそ取れた手段です。
Well, actually, let me throw in another thing into the ring here. Asuma has some sort of connection with his upper self. So, isn't that also an in that we have? She was right. None of us had the skill to do that. Hell, no one else in the world did.
私がオンラインで接続し、チャンネルを世界中のあらゆる人に開放し、サクラメントをできるだけ多くの人に使ってもらいます。
Okay, I'm following all of a sudden. At first I was like, well, what is this going to do? This is some weird ass Sword Art Online shit, but no. I get you. I get where you're coming from.
受肉した私は因子としてかなり高性能だったそうです。私が人工脳だった時よりもずっと、それだけ強力なサクラメントを何億人もの人が一斉に使えば、それは世界に対する強力な負荷となり得ます。
Okay, alright. Sacraments were miraculous powers that normal people could never normally use, and she was thinking of granting them to millions. An overwhelming number of such unthinkable events unfolding at once would overload the world, Gaia, and force it to reset.
世界の人口はおよそ90億人。カトリックの信者だけで世界にはお
Wait,
よ
that
そ
said 9 billion,
13
didn't
億
it?
人。
Damn, alright.
どれだけの人に使
We
って
went up a
もら
little
える
bit.
かが勝負です。
ジョーちゃんの作戦がうまくいく根拠は、リセットが起きるほどの負荷を世界に与えられると思うか。
No, nobody knows if it's going to be enough. We're talking about something that shouldn't even be a possibility, but we're trying to shoot for it here.
根拠はありません。
But Kent didn't either. His plan wasn't guaranteed to work. I mean, that's why he tried some other stuff as well. He knew that it would be a gamble, and that's what he said when he talked about the world line collapse.
私にできる唯一の
I mean, it's a good theory,
そして
but it's not a
最大限
solution
の
yet.
方法がこれでした。結局負荷が足りず何も起きないかもしれません。そもそもネクロピルグリマージュに私が接続するために敵地に乗り込む必要もあります。
Which is pretty damn sacrificial.
政務室のエージェントは私を排除しようとしてくるでしょう。チャンスは一度きり。失敗した時点で何もかも終わり。
Yeah, so I mean, it's a shot that she feels like she has to take. I totally understand. It's a gamble from the get-go. It's a risk that she has to take in order to try and work for that gamble.
たとえ成功したとしても私たちの思惑通りになるとは限りません。それでもこのまま何もせずただ週末を迎えるぐらいなら
We're gonna fucking fight.
私は少しでも世界と世界に生きる人たちのために行動したいんです。
There we go. That sounded about right. This was our only choice. We were out of other options. The stakes were high and our odds were low. It was a gamble for sure. But Momo was all in.
チームの人間として協力しよう。
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
そうだろ、ポロン。ポロン、
なあポロン、お前なんで何も言わないんだ。分かってんのかよ、この作戦の意味を。
Yeah, I think that's why he's as quiet as he is.
全ての世界層にいるほぼ全員の人間も救うことができるだろうよ。
I was already thinking it earlier, and when Cross brought up that everything would basically be reset, all of our memories and everything, Momo doesn't exist in any world layer. She's not real. So, if this were to go down, we'd be saying goodbye to Momo no matter what. It's farewell no matter what we do here. End of the world, goodbye to everybody. If she goes in to the Vatican and gets caught and killed, goodbye her. If she goes in and succeeds, it's still goodbye either to the world or her. This is it. There is no being able to, you know, save her. I understand how sacrificial all of this is, no matter what.
でもただ一人だけ救えない人間がいる。
ただ一人？誰のこと？
Yeah, and with how close that they've gotten, you know, it's, yeah, after everything they've been through,
気づいてん
it's
だろ。
been a crazy couple months, you know. Oz looked at Momo.
ジョーちゃん、あんただけだ。あんただけこの作戦で助からない。存在そのものが消えるんだ。
え？そうなの？
For real, dog. For real.
はい。最上位の世界層には、私、相崎桃という存在はいませんから。
I mean, from the get-go, she was inserted into this world layer, into this simulation, if you will, from somebody up above. And all this crazy shit that's going on, you know, sacraments and all, from her. Yeah, I mean, this is all very external and not, I guess, it's not real. I don't want to say it's not real, but you guys know what I mean. Ours was the only world with Momo in it. She was someone who should never have existed to begin with. The Gaia in the layer above ours had created her as a potential means to avert the end. When all the world layers had a 100% sync rate, Momo, who didn't exist in the topmost layer, would be gone forever.
承知の上かよ。
ポロンは知ってたのか？
ああ、
That was what Momo had to make her mind up about.
いいのか、ポロン。
I don't think he's okay with it, but again, what other choice do we have? There is no other solution. We have to try and, you know, overwork this world to the limit here to force that restart. I think she is the only one to do it. And the fact that she's stepping up to the plate really does show that her character has improved greatly. Fuck no, I wasn't. There we go. But
約束したからな。俺はどんなことがあっても、モモを助ける。モモが望むことを叶えるために、全力でサポートする。
there we go, man. There we go.
仲間として、モモを支える。モモの意志を尊重する。
Pollon has also greatly changed. He really has. To be as supportive as he is now, and to be able to talk to a girl in the first place, my fist clenched as I spoke. I was half serious, half putting up a front. No, I was bluffing. I'd spent the few hours since she had told me her plan asking myself whether I should stop her. But the thing was, it didn't matter if the end came or if Momo's plan was a success. She wouldn't make it either way, exactly. She knew that, but she wasn't wavering in the slightest. She'd been that way since the moment we met, only ever thinking about what she could do to save the world. She'd always done whatever she could to achieve that goal. And I had promised to help her in any way I could. She was in need, and I couldn't stand idly by. Momo wasn't wavering, so I couldn't either.
俺は
Damn good shit, bro.
モモの作戦に賛成する。
Good shit,
あり
dude.
がとうございます。
You love to see it. I mean, it hurts, but yeah. It's progress, truly, for his character. That we're gonna fucking lose if everything goes well here, but that was my answer. No. It was our answer. The answer Momo and I had chosen together. Yeah, all of this development I'm suddenly talking about is going to be fucking gone all of a sudden here if, uh-oh. I forgot she's still alive. Yeah, all of this development and everything that's going on will sort of be reset in a way if this does go according to plan, but it's the way to go about it, isn't it? It really is. All right, we'll save it there. Boy. Oh, wait, nope. I want to do it on a different slot because, okay, those two are taken, I think. Yep. I think these two had saves on them, but 33 was always free, right? I'm pretty sure. So nothing else has popped up. So we are in chapter 10, which I was told was the final chapter, but told by somebody else it wasn't. So, no idea how much more we have to go. Either way, we ball. I mean, I'm having fun, and I hope you guys are as well. No idea what's going to happen here, but we have a plan of action. We'll just have to see how everything goes, right? Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that fancy jazz. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.